Hello, everyone. We'll be starting shortly. Thank you for joining. Looking forward to an exciting masterclass. We'll give it another minute or so as people are registering. I see the numbers are growing rapidly, so that's good. Well, hello and welcome to the 17th in a series of our QBR Masterclasses entitled Walk a Mile in a King of Partner Management's Shoes. I'm Bob Lampkin, Vice President of Business Development at Successful Channels. Gary Morris, our CEO, will be joined by three of our clients who will share their experiences implementing JBPs and QBRs. They will introduce themselves. I'm certain that you will find that the masterclass is interesting and informative. Just a quick note before Gary begins, the masterclass will run approximately 45 minutes with another 10 to 15 minutes for questions and answers. We encourage questions. Please use the Q&A function on your Zoom link to record your questions. At the conclusion of the masterclass, you will be asked to complete a brief survey. For those who complete the survey, you will get a copy of the slides that we've used. So without any further ado, let's kick off the session. Here it is, Gary.
Thanks, Bob. Hey, this is Gary Morris, CEO and founder of Successful Channels. As Bob said, we're hosting our 17th QBR Masterclass entitled Walk a Mile in Their Shoes. And that was inspired by the Elvis song of the same name. We are so fortunate to have three 25-year veteran partner managers with us today to hear how to manage partners for growth. They'll each share their experience and insights on what has changed in partnership management over the past 25 years and what has proven to build committed, capable, and revenue-producing partnerships. Doug, Heather, and Mike are all clients of Successful Channels, and you'll get to hear directly from them how they define their partnership goals, manage their partnerships with the support of our workflow automation, planning, and QBR tools. We're very lucky to have them with us today. So let's start with the needs of the partner sales management team. Our 25-year partner manager veterans will tell us today how they routinely manage all 9 of these partner manager tasks for all of their partners, how they assess their needs, set joint growth targets, build joint plans, create end customer account plans, manage demand generation and MDF programs, build partner enablement plans, assign, notify, and remind owners of plan-defined tasks, and integrate them into a personal dashboard system. Consistently execute MBRs and QBRs, and accept and approve plans. There's a lot to do. Now, at the same time, partner VPs require roll-up reporting across all of these metrics and tasks to manage the entire ecosystem. Today, you'll hear from these senior managers how they use a system for all of the above. Now, there's a lot of folks in the channel ecosystem team supporting the growth of partnerships. But to use a football analogy, channel account managers, channel sales managers are the quarterbacks of the relationship. They are setting the direction of partnerships with their partner peers, and they serve as the hub of the wheel to plan, advocate, coordinate, track, and foster growth of the partnerships. You'll hear today from seasoned partner leaders. I'm afraid I've used seasoned, experienced, hopefully not too many times, but they do have a lot of experience. Build committed plans and execute growth strategies in close collaboration with their partners. You'll hear how they integrate these support team members, including marketing, operations, finance, to support their partner's success. Now, Successful Channels has built a workflow automation system to simplify and improve the outcomes of partnership sales management. All of the annual, quarterly, monthly, and day-to-day tasks are supported by a simplified and efficient partner management workflow toolset. Now, you'll hear today that effective partnership management comes down to 2 things: plan your work and work your plan. Plan your work is an annual activity which can be completed at the beginning of a year in an hour or 2 to map out a success plan and a set of tasks to achieve that plan. It is delivered in a guided best practice workflow where performance data is automatically integrated into a partner performance dashboard, and best practice planning recommendations are provided to select and build the supporting action plan. Once the tasks are defined, they can be assigned to individuals with automatically activated reminder system to send weekly emails to all task owners with open pending tasks. This system also enables partners to accept plans and partner sales executives to approve plans via a DocuSign plugin. Once the plans are accepted, all that is needed is to work your plan throughout the year by managing tasks that are pre-assigned as a part of their weekly reminder system. This process works because no planning tasks are missed and targets are achieved. Now let's start with our first channel manager, Doug Darby of Nutanix. Doug is one of the senior channel sales managers running some of Nutanix's most important partnerships. So Doug, please introduce yourself and tell us about your role at Nutanix and what your top priorities are for the partnerships that you manage.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I look forward to the conversation. And wow, Gary, you put 4 different gigs up there, and 2 of those for me were 15-year stints. I guess I am, like, what did you call it? Seasoned senior? Anyway, back to Nutanix. We have a robust ecosystem of partners, and we are 100% channel when it comes to sales, and we're 100% two-tier distribution, meaning we use distributors in all our markets worldwide, at least the ones that I'm aware of. And besides distributors, we have OEM partners, we have MSPs, we have alliance partners, and traditional resale partners. I manage 3 of the traditional resale partners proactively in our managed partner program, and I manage territory as well. That's 6 states in the South Central US. It's the 3 managed partners that I primarily use successful channels for.
Thank you, Doug. What, in your opinion, are some of the biggest changes you've seen over the past 10 to 15 years to build successful partnerships?
Yeah, it's been quite a ride. I would say probably at a high level, it's understanding the partner business model better. When I first, and that way we can meet them where they are. When I first got started in this business, right out of middle school, I mean, it just seemed like the whole message was, hey, sign up for my partner program and sell my stuff and don't bother me. And now it seems a lot more about problem solving. And we need to understand our partners' businesses better to do that problem solving so we can meet them where they are.
That's great. So how are you using the annual joint business plans to architect your partnership growth strategies?
I mean, really, at the most basic level, we back into it. We jointly determine where we'd like to be at the end of the year, and then figure out what steps that we think will get us there. We're often not 100% right at the beginning of the year, and we need to be ready and willing and able to adapt and modify as the year goes on.
So Doug, I know you're a big believer in partnership plans and QBRs. Can you speak to the overall planning process that you have found works best with your Nutanix partnerships?
Yeah, it's a sort of a cliche, but I think it's very important to set goals each year and to document them. And the cliche is if you don't document a goal, it's really just a wish. And those goals give us all a North Star to aim for. Once those goals are established, the QBRs are a key element to keep us on track. And at least here, where I am now at Nutanix, the QBRs come in a few forms. We do formal QBRs and we do informal QBRs. But really, QBR is not the only time we check in on progress. It varies by partner, but happens sometimes almost weekly in some form or fashion.
So how is your plan your work annual plan and work your plan QBR process working and received by your partners, specifically with the exports that the system generates?
So my 3 managed partners really appreciate the chance to get feedback and to give it. And the QBR for us is not a one-way street. I coach and remind my partners that the best QBR is one where they present to us as well. I readily share the data that we're going to share, so they have those same numbers as we're all working off the same page.
Well, that's great. So Doug, are you, as you're working your plan with your partners, please tell us how you use the Salesforce integrated partner performance dashboard to do your monthly and quarterly business reviews with your partners.
Yeah, so here at Nutanix, we chose to integrate our CRM data, like as you just said, it comes from Salesforce, into the Successful Channels platform. Before we did that, creating performance reports was a time-consuming and really candidly dreaded science project that we'd have to all embark on. Now, creating graphical representations of how we are doing against those key metrics is literally just the push of a button. It has been a huge time saver, allowing us to focus on preparing a narrative around the why and the how, instead of all of our cycles being spent on just the what. Like, what are those numbers?
Well, I know you have many different metrics that you use in your day-to-day performance management. You've got a lot of metrics in your dashboard. Can you tell us which of these metrics are the most meaningful, and under what circumstances do you use different metrics to have a detailed conversation with your partners?
Yeah, I mean, so to answer your first question, for us, it's closed business, pipeline, and new logos. I don't know, maybe this applies to some of the audience members as well, but Nutanix is really still a disruptor in the industry with about 27,000 customers worldwide. That sounds like a big number, but in the space we're in, it's really not. And so we are still very much focused on new logo acquisition. We give our partners a revenue growth goal based over prior period performance and expect a pipeline coverage at some custom multiplier for that growth goal. The Successful Channels piece gives me the tools to help dissect that business against our most important goals. And you said it, we measure in many other ways as well. Some of those other metrics may act as the proverbial canary in a coal mine if some other thing is happening where we are not going to meet that bigger goal.
And so just back to the new logo. So if a partner, are you literally looking for what percentage of your new logo or your growth are you looking to come from new logos? Do you have some guidelines for that?
We do. So we give an overall growth goal on all business closed, but we also want to see that 25% of the business that any given partner does is to selling to someone who doesn't own any Nutanix today. So we can track against that and the overall number.
So Mike, when Mike and Heather, when we get to this with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the same metric. Sorry, I've got this kind of busy chart. Do you mind just walking us through the 7 steps? You can just characterize, you don't have to go every step, but how do you use the business plan to create plans quickly? Where did all of these objectives come from, and how do you select them and build a plan for any one of your partners?
Sure. And much in the same way of backing into the overall plan with the end goal in mind, this part of the Successful Channels platform helps us pick a handful of things we think, if accomplished, will get to those overall goals. If anyone is familiar with OKRs, in my opinion, this is very similar. So we use stretch goals here, organized by topics, such as for us, enablement or marketing or sales and leadership alignment, to do the things that we think we need to do to get to our overall goals. Under each high-level topic like close new logo business, we can define activities that we think will be aligned to that goal. Each activity has a set of tactics and tasks that we can assign to different people to go accomplish.
One thing I have to say, Doug, working with you, not only are you obviously an excellent channel manager, but you've been a great mentor on the design of this guided process for Nutanix. So Doug, we were very fortunate to have Doug advise the global team on, what are the critical goals, but the supporting activities and tactics that we can build in to recommend to all of your channel sales manager peers out there. So just wanted to say thank you, Doug.
Yeah, well, it goes both ways, Gary. I mean, your team has been super helpful. When we launched this, I don't know, keep me honest, 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, it has been an iterative process. I mean, you guys are getting into the one of the most key functions that we have, and you're trying to set the guidelines for it. So when we adopted it, we had a lot of feedback for you on if we tweak this or move that, and it's been super helpful, all the help you've given back to us.
But thank you. And I think you'll hear this from both Heather and Mike as well, that probably 50 to 75% of our feature roadmap comes directly from our clients. And we have many new features that have come from from Nutanix, from Avalara, and from Havas. So Doug, here's a series of thumbnail images from the one-click MBR QBR PowerPoint system. Can you tell us how you use this to conduct regular business reviews with your partners to keep the business, opportunities, and tasks on track?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different benefits that successful channels brings to us, but this is that easy button I was talking about a few seconds ago. Numbers and statistics are the backbone and guideposts for how we're doing against our plans. With the speed and agility, excuse me, that the successful channels platform brings, we can easily grab data when it's needed. So in other words, it not only makes preparing for those formal QBRs and that dreaded science project I talked about much, much easier, like a one-click easiness, but it also makes it possible to grab data really in an ad hoc manner to have more meaningful conversations when these conversations pop up out of the blue.
And so what Doug said, I think Mike's going to have a lot of comments. He's done a lot of customization and on that ad hoc creation. So we're going to hear how he does that as well.
Yeah, I
So
was going to
one
totally
last,
agree with that one.
yes, yeah. Wait, he is the custom guru here. Okay. So Doug, I know that you use our partner scorecard to map out strengths and improvement areas across sales and marketing, technical pre-sales and services. How do your partners like this, and how have you found it the most useful?
I'm gonna admit this one was sort of funny, at least to me. Maybe I'm weird, and I'll be candid here. When we began to dive into all the elements that the Successful Channels platform brings to bear, I wasn't thinking this one would have all that much impact. I was totally wrong. Partners love it and obsess over it. They are always asking me for ways to turn their lights green. They're asking me, why am I a yellow and not a green? And heaven forbid, one should be red, and then my phone is off the hook. But seriously, it's a useful tool to empirically look at some metrics, and at the end of the day, it's a tool to help guide and craft and direct conversations.
That's great. Thank you. All right. So last done, sorry, another eye chart, but I know you use the 6-step process to assign tasks, automatically notify task owners of their tasks, remind them, and a personal dashboard system which provides a digest of all tasks by owner. How are you using this to make sure that your plans get completed on time, ensure that no tasks get missed or forgotten in your plan?
Yeah, so that high level goals, activities, and tasks hierarchy I touched on a minute ago, like all these things go to support those higher level goals. And so I use this feature to make sure the plan is not something that's done in month one and then stuck in a drawer. We assign these small tasks, like for instance, define a target account list to different people. The platform reminds those people of those tasks and those goals. And they'll get emails where they log into what we call their personal dashboard to see a full display of all the tasks that are out there, not just the one that they got emailed about. It's really a critical tool to kind of keep the business plan being a living, breathing document. And so it just doesn't get filed away and forgotten about.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Last thing, Doug, we have it built in as a planning system engagement dashboard, just basically to track plan completion. Nutanix has a goal of having a minimum of 6 goals, get plans accepted, get plans approved. How are you using this to make sure that you keep your partners on track with their plan completion and execution?
So they can see this too when they log in, but it's really just another way that we track progress and accountability, not just on the tactics level and the tasks level, but at a higher level. And I see you're publicly shaming me here with a couple of red lights on the dashboard. But again, these are stretch goals, and this is what we use to make sure that we're meeting those goals.
Okay. And this isn't your partner.
Hopefully none of your partners are on the call watching this, and they might come after you with those red colors.
They might.
All right, well, we're ready for our first poll question. Doug, take it away.
All right, so I have the honor of doing the first poll question. What are your partners looking for in your QBRs? And this is one of those ones where you select all that apply, not just one.
Can you see the results?
I do not.
Results.
Wow.
All right, Doug, what are your thoughts?
Let's see here. Up to date. So everyone wants to be able to see how they're doing. It's interesting to go to the bottom too. What's status on other partnership initiatives, i.e. MDF, new staff. Okay, interesting. Okay, it's not in order. So the lowest one is review. Yeah, I would agree. Like the review of the status of all in-user account plan. When we do QBRs, and maybe we're weird, but this is not an account plan session. This is not a pipeline review session. And so I see where, status of all in customer account plan tasks.
I'd agree with that.
I would agree. Yeah.
All right, well, let's end the poll and get going. So, Doug, thank you. I think there's some really good insights here on the poll. So, Doug, thank you. We're gonna switch over to Heather to thank you. So thanks, Doug. We are ready to get our next season, 25-year, the youngest of all of them, by the way. Heather is the Senior Channel Sales Manager for Havas, a mounting, storage, and technical solutions provider for a wide range of technology, transportation, public safety, government, commercial, and other key industries. Heather, welcome to the Masterclass. Please share a little bit about the Havas business and how you are growing the channel through distribution and technology partnerships.
Sure. Thank you for having me, and welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. If they'll have me in October, I'll hit 20 years at Havas. Seen a lot of change, a lot of growth, and in every way, really. So we too have been with the platform for going into our 5th year. Really became a critical function of what we're trying to do. Myself personally, again, long tenured in various things prior to Havas, but really started focusing on channel about 5 years ago. Havas, when we were much smaller, was really just direct resellers, and our distribution channel has grown tremendously in the last few years, some of which was through acquisition, and some certainly, organically. And we really needed a tool like everyone does to just, how do you manage it all? So, the platform became very enticing to us. We looked at it for probably too long before we pulled the trigger, but it's really been a game changer to what we're doing. Havas, in brief, we're located, our headquarters is in the Philadelphia area. Go Eagles, by the way. That's where I reside. So
Congratulations.
I'd be remiss without a shout out, so forgive my voice 4 days later. But we are global, and we need to, understand various businesses with distribution globally, what they're trying to do, what their sweet spot is. And also, how do we differentiate them and ourselves with them? And that's a big piece. And certainly, as I'm sure everyone on the phone can attest to, how do you really see that shift versus lift? So that's a big part of what I do. I reside on.
So Heather, I'm sorry, Heather. So can can you speak to the vertical program that you guys are executing? I think you've got a really industry-leading program.
Yeah, we, well, in August last year, we presented as a team. I'm on the business development team, and we had to share at our own annual internal business meeting what we were going to do to defend and grow in our core markets and expand into new ones. And we did it in PowerPoint, and it resonated really well, and it was a great presentation. But we knew immediately, how do we take what we're trying to do with markets, work with Gary, and stand something up. So, really our strategy again is defend and grow in our core and expand into new markets, whether that's with current products or find opportunities for product development.
Perfect. So Heather, why has Havas decided to focus on these 7 key vertical markets?
Yeah, so Havas really enables the technology. If you look inside a police car, law enforcement vehicle, anything under that computer is probably Havas. So we enable the technology with docking and cradle solutions, and then we have mounting as well. Through an acquisition, we really leading the charge as well in retail. So if you go into perhaps a big brand coffee shop and go to pay your bill, we're underneath that credit card terminal. If you go anywhere and try and use point of sale, even in hotels, we're mounting those things. So we're really calling it the 4 wheels and the 4 walls. Wherever there's technology, and we're agnostic in all things, we can support it with our docking and cradle solutions. So
Heather, what do you expect to get out of this vertical strategy? What is the outcome of being more vertically focused that you're expecting?
Yeah, I think we need to understand where our partners are thriving, where we can go with them and leverage them, and vice versa, and also understand that competitive landscape. And again, that shift versus lift, how do we navigate all of that? And we really have all of the large distribution houses in the industry. So, again, using a tool impresses the partners. It allows us to see, of course, where we're winning, where the gaps are, and where maybe it's not relevant. So we know where to spend our time.
I love your shift versus lift comment. So here's a vertical profile that you've built out in the planning system. This shows how you're using the new smart table system to gather partner vertical alignment and partner integrated go-to-market. So how do you use this to collect the information and segment your partners based on where they are?
Sure. Well, for us, it's really about tech partners. Again, we're agnostic, the channel, all of our go-to strategies, and then, of course, the end users. So we really needed to take a look at where, distribution line cards with our tech partners and vice versa, and then really digging into the ecosystem as well. For us, we are a part of a solution, but there's many things that come first. Again, we're all here to solve problems. So we work with the ecosystem as well. So once we can populate the data, a couple things, again, Doug alluded to it, we can make iterations with Gary and his team. What do we need to see? Then what is the output going to be? And we can also manage, the competitive landscape in here. And financially, as y'all know, we pay a lot of money and invest in all the marketing machines. So now we can also see, should we diversify those funds by markets, by partner? So you're looking at an output here. Again, you can see where, there's some white space. So it's not relevant, or we need to populate it with our team. But again, now we see it in a system. If it's not in a system, it doesn't exist. So we're not just, spitballing. And then we can work with our sales team to say, hey, this is what we've discovered as a business development team. Here's where we can win and go together.
So every organization has this challenge. They'd love to know more about their partner's business, how they can better align their business with their partners. And what I really like about the Havas business, not only are you aligning your strategy, but even your product development process. So as you're compiling these partner level, distributor level assessments, how are you using this now to map out your path forward with each individual partner and across your ecosystem?
I think we can stop making assumptions in a little box and really see it. You know, again, we dominate really in public safety, but not necessarily with every partner. And that's something we really had to take a look at and document and dissect and move on to the next one. So if there's a partner winning in a various vertical, that's fantastic. We'll continue to capitalize on that and work together. If there's a vertical that they say that is not our sweet spot, you know, then we don't need to focus any time and money there. So it's really been working to give us the plan as far as our vertical expansions.
And in addition to the roll up and identifying these white spaces, this individual partner profile is also integrated into your regular monthly and quarterly business review presentations. So how are you using your QBRs with your new Smart Table partner profile integrated to improve the way you execute monthly and quarterly business reviews?
Yeah, I think we just had that experience recently with one of our larger partners. We told them we're still, you know, in beta and welcome their input. They loved it. I mean, a few years ago to be able to show them we're managing all this for both of us. It's of mutual benefit. We're paying for it. They love that. Then the scorecard, Doug alluded to that. It's fantastic. They are all in to try and be better, certainly again for mutual benefit. And now we added this to be able to say to them, you know, again, instead of saying we're going to do all things with you all day, how do we get laser focused together, work with the right partners at the right time, and then make sure we're bringing the tech partners into the fold is critical piece.
Thank you. So obviously Heather is one of our leading clients with partner profiling and helped us design this enhancement. So Heather, here's your poll. Please take it from here.
All right, sure. So to the audience, we love the feedback. So, you know, what are the components of your brand or, you know, channel vertical strategies?
And Heather, notice that you have to scroll down so you can see all the responses there.
Sure, sure.
So what is your interpretation of this and how it relates to your experience with vertical strategies?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these numbers are obviously kind of close together. I think that, again, with and through your partners, really trying to dissect where can you win together, because it won't be in all things, and that's okay. So obviously the winning question here, you know, the profile by target. That's exactly what we're trying to do instead of being all things to all people. So, you know, and then also align your vertical specialists. We have 4 verticalized teams here, so also a no-brainer. It's a critical piece to what we're trying to do. And then, of course, the money is always going to come into play. So I can tell you for a fact, 2 years ago, we were just spending money, assuming they're going to do all things for all verticals. And now we can scale that back or diversify the funds, you know, accordingly. So
Thank you. All right, well, let's end the poll and move on to the next slide, which is Mike. So I'd like to introduce our third veteran, Senior Channel Manager Mike McKay of Avalara. Mike has been leading and managing the accounting channel at Avalara for several years. Mike has also been instrumental in the configuration of the partner business planning QBR system, specifically for the accounting partner segment. Mike, welcome, and please share a little bit about your goals for the Avalara accounting channel.
My first goal, I think, is probably to update my profile picture to make me look a little bit older. But thank you for having me, Gary. It's been great working with you and the team. I'm a senior strategic account manager. I've been at Avalara for over 6 years. Prior to that, I was a software developer working at Microsoft. And in that role, I did a lot of similar partner management, but at Avalara, it is 100% my job. Using the tools have been great for me, because a lot of these things I used to manually generate, and working with partners, as Doug went, very well into, is definitely, key to growth. And so using these tools, it's saved me tons of time. So it's great to, and I will say I was a skeptic. When I was first told about the tool, I was like, I don't know, like, is it going to really meet the needs? But I was very pleasantly surprised.
So Mike, how have your accounting partners responded to the partner business planning and QBR process?
So I will say I'm in a bit of the infancy stage where we have just started rolling this out across a number of my partners, and the one thing I will say is they definitely see it's the way the data is presented, the information I can provide, the way I can consolidate information has been great. It really makes it easier for me, one, from a times perspective, but also for the partner to disseminate the information, read through the information clearly, and just a bunch of data points that we can use as talking points. And so they've appreciated that. And then also stuff that they can go back and look at as I provide them the presentation.
Well, Mike has been really keeping us on our toes and made a number of improvement recommendations. One of the things I really like that you did, Mike, is you came up with kind of an accounting best practice go-to-market, and you aligned the plans around these five business goals. Can you share how you used the plan? You created a best practice plan and then used our plan replication process as a starting point for each of your accounting partner plans. Can you tell us how that worked for you and how your partners reacted?
Yeah, unfortunately, with a software development background, I have a lot of opinions about consumer applications. So, but Gary's team has been so great at responding, and it's been awesome to work with. So, in my space, so we sell sales tax software, but I work directly with accounting partners. So we have tech partners, we have accounting partners, we have consultants. I work specifically with accountants. And in building out the plan, obviously there are certain areas that we focus on, new logos. I should back up. We also, while we work with customers, we also have accountants that are customers for our tools business. So we also have a tools business. So my priorities around new logos, growing the tools business, other types of service capabilities. Obviously, there's marketing activities, and then with existing customers, looking at cross-sell. And there are a number of people that work in the accounting space that do exactly what I do. And so what I did is since I was the representative working on this, I built out a template that my other counterparts could then use. And so I built out the template of all these different activities and supporting tasks that then I could replicate to all my counterparts so that they could leverage, the work that I had already done. And so then it's just a matter of them going in, deleting things they need, adding little pieces that they wanted to add, and it really sped up the process for them.
Sounds like we owe you a debt of thanks, Mike, because we use that as well. So I didn't know where that came from. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's much easier for us not to stare at a blank page, but to stare at someone else's and make a few changes. So thank you.
100%. Yeah. Thank you.
And on that same spirit, Mike, about designing a customized view, we started with a cross Avalara partner type, but then you said, all right, here are the metrics that are specifically relevant for accounting partners. Can you share the metrics that you selected that you found the most valuable for accounting partners?
Yeah. So obviously there's a little bit different priorities when you're working with an accountant versus a tech partner. There are certain data points that the two different teams would be interested in, where a tech partner may be more interested in who's selling, who's, the different commission structures and those types of things, where the accounting partner is more interested in just, are we taking care of their customer? Are we meeting our goals that we've set out at the beginning of the year? And so I really distilled down the metrics to the key metrics that my specific channel wanted, and then create a template for that also, so that the accounting partners could focus in on the same data points.
And one other kind of initiative that I really like that you designed, this is a back-end view of where you created a customized, purpose-built MBR QBR template that highlighted specific metrics and actions and tasks for accounting partners. Just tell us how you did that.
Yeah, this goes right back into the template that I previously worked on. This is the same model. It's just building out the template that then my counterparts in the accounting channel could then leverage. So distilling down the PPD, partner performance dashboard, into just the data points that I wanted to represent in the charts. We have certifications, the different goals. There is I do include like our pipeline, but there was an activity where I wanted both a pipeline, but then I also wanted closed won and lost deals, because I think looking at both sets of data points are equally interesting in different ways. So that was a feature that I worked with Gary on.
Great. And this is just another view of the same thing where you can select individual fields. I know you did a lot of work here to really hone in on the key metrics that are critical. Did you find this useful?
Yeah, of course. I mean, definitely, and also found some information that was, as we were connecting up to our instance Salesforce, where we were not getting the right data point for EMEA conversion, so for a Euro conversion. And so this was super useful in getting just the data points we wanted, and working with Gary's team for some updates to how we were referencing Salesforce. The other thing that I love that I don't think is listed here and included in here is the ability to. So I mentioned earlier that we have accounting partners that are customers for tools, but also where they have referrals, and being able to separate out the information with exclusions was super useful.
So Mike, thank you. I mean, basically, we're providing workflow automation, taking all of the pain that Mike, that everyone has gone through, Mike, Heather, and Doug has gone through manually, just to make it easier so you can spend more time selling and supporting your partners. All right, Mike, here, take it away with your poll.
All right, so here's my poll. Please select all that apply. And also remember, it's Bob's birthday today. Just want to mention that. What are the goals you typically include in your partner plans?
Okay, let's
All right,
give
Bob,
this.
let her rip.
Okay, let's open up. We'll give you another 15 or 20 seconds or so.
Mike, be sure to scroll down on the results, because we have a tendency to create long polls.
I keep trying to click on them too, and try to stack the deck with my vote.
Can't do it.
Can't. You're not allowed.
You're not allowed. All right, listen,
sure
another couple of seconds. All right, why don't we see what the poll results are?
All right, Mike.
So as expected, I would see, new pipeline logos to be high. Campaigns, I find campaigns, interesting, but sometimes they can be kind of a less of a focus. Grow renewals, of course. Yeah, that looks pretty accurate, I would say, and how I would order this.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, Mike. All right. So listen, I think we're getting close to wrapping up here, but I understand we've got some audience questions. So thank you, Doug, Heather, and Mike, our experienced channel managers, senior channel managers, to provide your insights and observations on more effective partnership management. So Bob, can you lead us through some
We actually have
audience questions, please?
Yeah, we have several of them. The first one is, and I think we can open this to everybody, but maybe perhaps start with Doug. how do you get large partners to participate in the planning? Most won't invest the time with us.
Well, it's picking who you want to do planning with. Earlier in my career, my stint here at Nutanix, I managed a partner, which is a three-letter acronym. So there's a couple of them out there, so I'm not giving it away, but all three of them are very large organizations, and we had to find some champions. And then instead of planning with, the CRO or the CEO or the CMO, we were planning with a leadership of a business unit, or in one case, it was a regional sales VP at this large partner. The regional sales VP had, oh my gosh, like 70 employees underneath their organization. So maybe start there and see if you can expand and show value.
Mm-hmm. Any of the
Yeah,
other?
I would agree with that. I mean, that's very in line with how I work. I mean, I'm working with top 400 accountants, and so you can imagine that some of them are quite large. But I target it towards the area that's most specific to what I'm working on. And they seem to, they want to be, in the top, when you think about the red, yellow, green, I mean, they want to be like, we want to make sure we want to be the top tier here.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, this is a question for Heather. How successful is your new vertical alignment and growth strategy with your partners?
I would say also in the infancy stage, but so far really good. Even internally, it was a huge win. Externally, we've been able to show two partners so far, and they understand the vision of it. And now, again, we've done all the work and we're handing it to them. And alludes to the first question, which is we're planning with the right people. We're proving to them that there is a mutual benefit in doing that. And we're managing the tools and showing the data and saying, let's work together.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Here's another question, and this one might be for Mike. What do you think of a company that does not offer MDF to partners and dramatically reduces discounts on subscriptions on renewal?
So the way we use MDF it does not affect commissions or subscriptions, but we use them for different marketing activities. I haven't seen a huge jump for this, but so I'm not as in tune with how beneficial it is. But I think I definitely see why it is useful. I've worked with partners to use it, and it's been super beneficial in generating opportunity. So yeah, I don't know if that answers the questions, but that's kind of my
But
opinion.
Bob, Doug might have some point of view on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so just say that again to make sure I understand.
This is, what do you think of a company that does not offer MDF to partners and dramatically reduces discounts on subscriptions or renewals for subscriptions?
I think MDF, whether it's designed to do marketing or to do enablement, often gets folded into the larger profit picture for any given partner. And so, if the question is coming from a source of, gee, I work somewhere, we don't have MDF and that's bad, and I like to have a story to change it, or you're feeling pressure because your competition is offering MDF and you don't, I would try to highlight the fact and the amount of profit you can make on that reduced cost subscription or the upfront of that initial ARR sale. And if none of those are applied, then maybe it's time to look to go somewhere else.
Well, thanks, Doug. Okay, we have time for one more question. And let's see, Mike, how do accounting partners like this business planning and QBR process, and are they willing to be active participants?
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's a good way to distill down the information, the data points, their progress and how we're working together. It's a very clean, good good set of data points, which I love. I'm still, like I said earlier, I'm in the infancy, so I don't do a lot of the more detailed stuff yet, but I just figured I'll kind of roll that in as I go. And I would say all my accounting partners definitely love seeing the information and being part of the conversation.
That's great. Well, thank you all for your answers and questions. And I think it's time for us to wrap up. As I mentioned at the beginning, you'll be seeing a survey that will pop up after the end of the session. If you are able to fill it out and submit it, you'll get a copy of all the slides. Once again, thank you all for attending. Gary, thank you, and thanks to the team for an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, all.
All right, take care now.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.